All right. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Time for a little post debate breakdown. Now, my mother has always told me if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So, rather than talking about how the debate went for my guy, I'm going to talk about the math, and I'm going to talk about Tom Steyer. Now, first of all, before we get into this, let's just take a look at the speaking time. Today I'm wearing my math pin because that's all that matters, right? This thing is all about math. It's about votes. It's about dollars. Either you have them or you don't. So we're not going to sit here and talk about conspiracy theories, whose mic may or may not have been on. I came into 2020 telling you guys I will not support Bernie Sanders because I don't believe that he's really the man that he says that he is. Not that he doesn't believe in his ideas, just that he's just truly not a person who's actually going to be able to stand up against these major multi-billion-dollar corporations that have strong interest in making sure that he does not accomplish any of his goals. And that's going to be the theme for pretty much your 4 years if you're running on a political revolution. So with that said, I have to hold my candidate to the exact same standard. If you're not standing up in a debate, then I do think it's going to be difficult for you to be able to accomplish what you want. Not to mention, we're talking about one day facing the juggernaut that is Donald Trump, who is going to be merciless. You know, he's not a guy who's he's not a guy who's going to allow you to make excuses. And you know, the interesting thing about him, you know, coming into 2015 is that when he was put in a situation where the media was attacking him, he simply called them out for it. And that is why he was able to get his message out. That's why he's pretty much relied on Twitter to be his mouthpiece. You know, he doesn't rely on letting the mainstream media, you know, speak for him. He's like, no, I'll just go to the people directly. And for as insane as he often sounds, he like he did he's doing what he's supposed to do. Like, you believe him because he's like, look, they're attacking me too. I must be doing something right. So I'm just going to have to go to you directly. And when they're speaking about me, they're lying. And, you know, the expression fake news was born from Donald Trump. So let's just go look at the numbers real quick, man. You guys know, if you watched the debate, you had a pretty good idea. Bernie Sanders with 19 minutes, 59 seconds. Biden, 19:45. And it felt like Biden spoke for 1945 because honestly, it was painful. If you guys were following me on Twitter, I often couldn't even understand what Joe Biden was saying. I mean, he would have these long diatribes, but it was also difficult to understand him because it sounded like maybe his teeth were slipping or something like that. So he's doing this thing where he's like, you could tell something's moving around in his mouth. Did not come off well, but you know, he's talking. So Sanders, you know, a lot of defending himself. He was facing a little bit of heat. I mean, you know, we saw Amy giving him the boots several times, basically calling him out for being essentially unrealistic. The typical Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders conversations from 2015, like, your stuff is unrealistic. How are you going to pay for it? You want to be super left, but most of America doesn't want that. Most of America just wants to reform the Affordable Care Act. Let's focus on that. Let's stop talking about this Medicare for all. Buttigieg, you know, he did his thing, man. Look, I've said it. You can call him a snake. You can call him unbelievable. You can say he's a used car salesman. I'm going to say he's a really good politician. He's a really good debater, and he's showing it every single time he gets up there. We saw his performance in Iowa. He's coming into New Hampshire now with momentum, and he looked very comfortable on the stage last night. And he just basically showed that, you know, it wasn't a fluke, and he might really be – he's the new Joe Biden. Like, he's the new, improved, younger, better, crossing off all the boxes if you're looking for a minority. He's it, man. Klobuchar, surprisingly only 16 minutes. I thought she was phenomenal last night. We have to decide. Do you think debates matter or do you think they don't? Okay. For a long time, it was like, oh, the media is trying to sell us on Amy Klobuchar, but you got to give the lady her credit. When she gets in the debate, she crushes every single time. Like, she really brings it. She really adds something new to the conversation. She's been going on about how she can bring the Midwest, and that's what we're seeing from her. Now, obviously, she's not winning. My kid screamed right there. Yeah, obviously, she's not winning, but she's definitely looking to dethrone Elizabeth Warren. That's what I saw happen last night. Like, I really saw Elizabeth Warren fall, and I saw the rise of Amy Klobuchar. Yeah, the media might be trying to sell her. Maybe she's the insider. Maybe she's that new female candidate. We started out talking about Biden and Warren, and it looks like before this thing is over, it's going to be Klobuchar and Buttigieg, and they are. If they're not the nominee, they're the future. They're the new centrists. They're the new moderates of the party. So, well, not new, but you know what I mean. Like, they're on the rise. Like I said, Warren, she was just unimpressive. You know what I mean? Like, 15 minutes of nothing. She said nothing impressive. She, just kind of stayed in her lane. She got into it a little bit, but she didn't really have those knockout blows. Again, I've said that the debates are a slam dunk contest. Okay, this is not a place where you go and we have rational conversation and we talk about your ideas and policy. No. This is where I'm looking for highlights. You got to give me something to walk away and say, you know what? There were a couple of moments where I was like, oh, okay, I see you out there, Elizabeth Warren, and it didn't happen. Okay, like I said, Klobuchar had those. Klobuchar she crushing, man. Like, get a lady her credit. She's a cop. She's a prosecutor, but she was like this voice of reason, and she really represented that. Like, what are we all talking about here, man? She's like, Klobuchar did good. Okay, so stop sleeping on Amy. You might not like her, I might not like her, but she's doing a good job. Like, she's establishing what her position is, and that's really all I'm asking from Andrew Yang at this particular moment. We'll get to Andrew in a minute, but really that's all I want from him. I want him to say, this is where I fit in. All right, we've been talking from when we had 20 candidates up there. Like, what is everyone's role? Like, we knew Joe Biden was the most electable. We knew Bernie Sanders was the Medicare for all progressive. We knew Elizabeth Warren was the alternate non-extreme left version of Bernie Sanders. We knew, like, everybody had their own pocket, and we're now finally starting to see where everyone really fits in. And if you don't, Sonny, can you? Thank you. You have to establish where you are, and that's your pocket of people. That's what you can offer to the party. That's what you can offer as you go into, the Super Tuesdays and further down this whole process, where we can say, okay, what's your base? And you have to establish that. You know what I mean? When you have this, okay, I cross over with Bernie voters. Well, that's great, but the Bernie voters are going to vote for Bernie, so you got to bring something of your own, to have this conversation. And that's where Tom Steyer. Tom Steyer last night. I look, either the debates matter or they don't. Klobuchar was given a little bit of love from the media. She took it, she ran with it, and she really made the debates her home. She did her thing. Tom Steyer last night did the exact same thing. He said, where can I fit in? What can I offer that nobody else is willing to do? Tom Steyer geniusly rephrased this entire conversation for maybe a moment, whatever, long enough for me to notice, where he said, you know what? It doesn't matter where you fall in Medicare for all. It doesn't matter where you fall in that policy. We're all better than Donald Trump. The point is, who can beat him and who's the best on the economy? He reframed the conversation. And that is what you have to do. You're not going to win on everything. You have to change the conversation to make it, this is the conversation that I can win. I can't win. Surprisingly, the man at one point tried to say that he has the most political experience. Or I don't understand where that was coming from. But he found a pocket. He said, this is who I am. He said, this is why I'm the most electable. Did it land? Is he going to win from that? Probably not. But did he steal the show for a brief moment? Yeah, he really did. Then he now we've been having this conversation. We've been having this conversation about the black vote from the beginning. I told you guys, look, Andrew Yang's clearly not interested in the black vote, and that's fine. Like, just don't even mess with that. Don't put yourself in this position because he's done it now twice or three times now, where he's put this freedom dividend, and he said, okay, freedom dividend is going to solve the racial wealth gap. It's going to solve racism, and I keep saying this is a horrible thing. This is a horrible position to put yourself in. Don't ever bring these statistics up. Don't bring this stuff up unless you're going to follow up with, well, I have a specific policy that is going to specifically address the concern of racism or African Americans or whatever particular racial group you're talking about. Don't do it. Don't do it because you're setting yourself up for this moment. And I really did not expect Tom Steyer to be the one to slam dunk Andrew Yang, but he absolutely did it last night. And it was very graceful, and it wasn't like he was trying to dump on him or anything. He was just like, yo, Andrew, you keep talking about this freedom dividend. The freedom dividend is not going to solve racism. And then Andrew follows back with, well, yeah, it is. But it's not, though. And I don't want to even go into the individual responses. This was an extremely bad exchange for Andrew Yang. I did not like it. I wish it never happened. Again, this is a debate. I don't think everybody's watching this and picking apart every little thing that happens, but you only speak for 8 minutes. They got to be a real solid 8 minutes. And we didn't get a real solid 8 minutes. We got okay. There were some decent moments. He had some good stuff when he talked about, Donald Trump isn't the root of all problems, and when you stop that, like, that was cool, but that was the best moment really for Andrew Yang of the night. Like, it's just, I've seen his mic was cut off. I've seen that popping up. It's just like, yo, you think Trump is gonna care if your mic's cut off? Do you? Because he's not. All right, he's not. If you're not willing to attack the moderators, you're not willing to attack the establishment, you're not willing to attack the DNC, then you're going to be put in this position where you're playing it safe because you want to make sure that you don't create any enemies at the cost of your candidacy, and you don't make the people feel like you're actually able to do that when it matters. Like, do I feel like you can do it when it matters if you can't do it on the debate stage? Like, yeah, it's a debate. I get it. I get there's a process. I get there's moderators. I get everyone takes a turn. Yeah, that's fine. But I don't see Tom Steyer making that an excuse. I don't see Amy Klobuchar making that an excuse. It's like, again, you can tell me that the debates don't matter. Fine. I don't know where else Amy Klobuchar has made this rise in her candidacy other than the debates. Like, maybe she's just been pounding it. You see the numbers. You see Andrew Yang has done like 94 events or whatever in New Hampshire, like 20 or so more events than any of the next closest candidate. He's putting in the work on the ground. But, every part of this process is an opportunity, and the debate is that. The debate is just another opportunity to speak to a wider audience, and it's up to you to make the most of it. Like, I can't accept that, oh, my mic was off. All right, well, knock the podium down and be like, yo, I'm talking. Like, walk over to somebody else's mic, grab it up. Like, look, I'm talking, man. Like, what's up, man? Why does Andrew have to attract more Bernie voters if the majority of them won't listen to reason? He doesn't. That's the point. That's what I've been saying the last few days. The question for Andrew Yang is never about trying to get Bernie voters, because as we saw in Iowa, it was a moderate who is running on electability that won Iowa. Like, okay, yeah, fine, maybe. Again, these results are still back and forth, right? So whatever. So maybe Bernie won. It doesn't matter. Pete didn't get blown out. It wasn't like Bernie had 60% and the next closest person had 10%. Like, it's neck and neck, Bernie and Buttigieg, right? And then we still know we got South Carolina and Nevada and all these other states coming where we're expecting Biden to do better. So, and even if Biden doesn't do better, then now maybe Mayor Pete picks that up, or we see Klobuchar picking up some steam. So, like, it's open. You just establish which part of the party you're in. Are you the moderate? Or are you the progressive? Or are you conservative? Like, where are you? Okay, cool. And now sell your case. He doesn't have to take Bernie voters. He has to establish his own voters. I said that at the beginning. He doesn't have to try to get the black vote. Fine, don't. You don't have to get the black vote. What vote are you bringing? Are you getting the Latino vote? Are you getting the over 60 or over 50 vote? Are you getting the, like, what vote are you bringing? Okay? You have to have an electorate. Now, Tom Steyer last night made a play for the black vote. I don't think he's going to get it, but he brought it, man. Like, he tried. You know, it's the same thing with when Beto went out there and he said his wild statement about, you know, taking the guns. Like, okay, it's a swing. It's a big swing, but he decided this is where I stand, and that's what you kind of live and die on. Sanders won the popular vote in Iowa hands down. I hear you. Americans are stupid. They only love sound bites. Well, but this isn't news. This is not a surprise to me. I didn't know that. I didn't just find that out this morning. I knew that, like, for the last couple of debates, which is why I keep saying, like, we have to decide if we think debates matter or if they don't. Okay, we've been talking about, all right, if this Yang gets on the debate stage, he's going to do this. All right, great. It don't matter if you on the debate stage if you don't do anything. Okay, if you're on the debate stage, like, I'm watching debate, I had to put my phone down because I was about to turn into Twitter fingers for real last night, telling y'all what I really think because I was just getting so frustrated. It doesn't matter if you're on the debate because, you know, Andrew's first thing he says, like, I'm happy to be back on the debate stage. I want to give every American $1,000. Great. But if you're not going to say anything, it doesn't even matter if you're up there. Like, I don't know how you do it. All I know is I know how you do it. You attack other candidates. You point out their flaws in their policies, and it gives them the opportunity to go back and forth with you. We've known this from the second debate. From the second debate, this conversation has been, do you become aggressive and attack other candidates so that it gives you more time? That's it. We saw Harris do it. We've seen Amy do it. We saw everyone going at Biden at one point. Like, we've seen this over this whole last 5 months. So what's up, man? It doesn't help not getting to have a rebuttal either time when it was mentioned. Moderators didn't hold people to their time on this one. ABC debate was poor last time, too. Love Andrew, but he effed up. Americans vote on emotions, not on facts. Exactly. I've been saying, if you think you're going to be the best candidate and that's going to be enough, again, this is another one of my tweets that I didn't want to tweet out last night. Being the best candidate isn't good enough. Having the best policies isn't good enough. Being the most logical isn't good enough. This is not about logic. This is not about go back to one of the first videos I've made. I've been telling y'all this is not a logic thing from the beginning. If you come in here with logic and great ideas, it don't work. No one cared about the Martin Luther King, I have a plan speech. They cared about the Martin Luther King, I have a dream speech. Because great leaders sell ideas and emotions, and that's how you get people to follow you. Not with having the most strategic and well laid out and well thought out plans that could possibly be. I mean, that helps. But how do you motivate your followers? It's with emotion. I think Andrew might think people like him for the freedom dividend. He might not get that. We like the way he thinks. We need him to stop referring back to the freedom dividend all the time. Exactly. Like, we get it, man. I know the freedom dividend. I know it, man. But you have to convince America that you're not just this one-trick pony of, I'm going to give you money and that's going to solve everything. Like, go back to, and he even started to do it. He started to do it last night where he mentioned, we need to focus on this more human-centered version of capitalism. I mean, he had the opioid question, which was, a perfect serve. And then you saw everybody else just slowly eating off at his plate. That was his question. You saw Pete back off of decriminalizing opioids, right? They asked him, they came back from the break, and they were like, they started with Pete, and they were asking him, so you mentioned that you wanted to decriminalize opioids, and he came out and was like, well, let me clarify. I'm not trying to say that we should, let people manufacture and blah, blah, blah. And Andrew, it teed it up for you. Like, you got to come in and spike that and say, okay, yeah, now let me be clear. He had a moment. He spoke. He talked about, there's too many prescriptions and the government, co-signed this. But it's up to you, man. Like it really is up to you. There's a live stream, 22 minutes speak at Our Rights, where Andrew does step up. I would have preferred that he focused more on democracy dollars, term limits, elected adjust the freedom dividend. Pete quoted Yang on drugs policy. Yeah, he did. That's what I'm saying. They're taking his lunch. He told y'all at the beginning, either I'm gonna win, or all the other candidates are gonna sound a lot like me. Which, when we heard that sounded good, right? It sounded like, all right, his ideas are gonna get out. But we should have thought a little bit closer about what that's going to mean for our candidate. Does that mean he's going to respond back and say, okay, wait, you sound like me, but you're not me? That's what we're missing. We're missing the part where you take back the mic and remind America that you've been having these views for a long time. You didn't just show up today and start changing your mind because you thought that these were great talking points, that these would help you to win. Say hi, and then you can go.
Is that thing filming you?
Yeah, it's filming, bud.
Hi. How's it not seeing me? How's it not seeing me?
It's on a lag. You're there. All right. Bye-bye.
I'm there.
Back to your room.
And how can it not show me?
Yeah, there you are. Andrew needs to take some speech class. He nailed it. Yeah, he did. Or he called it. Yeah. They said hi, buddy. All right. Most Dems don't even know Yang has 50-plus page plans on healthcare, climate change. He lets them out. Exactly.
Hi, viewers.
Hi, viewers. He could have said, yes, Peter. I see you read my book. That's it. That's exactly it, man. You got to Thank you. Thank you for finally finished. I see you finally finished my book. There you go. There it is. He said that. What was that? Right before the Christmas debate, they said, what would you have, what gift would you give to other candidates? I'd give them my book. All right, cool. I've heard people say that Yang tried to talk several times, but his mic was malfunctioning. I don't care. Again, when I came into this, I told y'all why I couldn't vote for Bernie. I didn't care that Bernie got shafted in 2015. I told him he should. At that point, I said, okay, now you run third party. Now you decide you're gonna come into this particular election cycle and say you don't want to run as a Democrat. I don't care what you have to do. You're not gonna tell me that you're a revolutionary and they cut off my mic is the reason why you can't go forward. Sorry. It's not enough. He was a debate champion. Exactly. Yeah. I know we all forget this. That Andrew Yang got a 1,300 on the SAT when he was 12 or something, and he is a national debate champion. He's no scrub, okay? So, I'm not asking for greatness. That's the thing, is I'm not being overly critical. I'm not asking for you to, I'm not picking through every single line and saying, oh, no, you should have said that, you should have said that. No. I want America to watch you in the debate and say, that guy wants to win. That guy is a fighter. That guy is a champion for change. He wants to see America progress. That's all. If anyone's mic was off, they'd make a stink for sure. Yang doesn't want this snuff. There it is. That's it. What do you think Donald Trump is going to do if they cut off his mic? Tell me what you think he's going to do. You don't even know. You can't even fathom what he's going to do because he's so unpredictable that he's so willing to do anything to not let that happen that he'd probably walk off the stage. He'd probably walk off the stage and pick up his phone and start tweeting. They cut off my mic. I'm not going to sit here for this. It's a waste of my time. So, again, this is what I expect for the guy who wants to change the world. Buddy, can I please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. he's dancing. Oh, man. You saw him raise his hand a lot. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even see him a lot of the time. They kept moving the camera, giving him angles where you really couldn't even see him. So I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend I know what happened. Uh, all I know is I didn't hear him speaking up. I didn't see him knock that podium over, and that's what I needed him to do last night. Fortunately, it's just a debate. You know what I mean? According to everybody except for me, it's just a debate. It doesn't matter. So there you go. Those who make peaceful revolutions impossible make violent revolutions inevitable. Ooh. Yo, that's a fire quote. What's that from? Yang needs to bring it. That's the final ingredient, and he wins. What do you think could possibly be holding him back? He should have the biggest confidence, in my opinion. He should be brilliant. He has a great heart. Tell me what I'm missing. I think he's afraid to be divisive. I think he's afraid. I mean, there's no reason why he's not calling out. I remember when we had the Yang media blackout. How long did it take him to call out the media then? We've seen him not call out Pete for stealing his ideas. I think that in his mind, if he calls somebody out, then he's going to lose that section of the electorate forever. Those people will never support him because he went after their candidate. I think his logic is his biggest flaw. He's too smart for his own good. Yang doesn't know how to fight. He's a little bit. He needs a debate coach. He had a cold. He actually was like, okay. Again, I don't care. Listen, if it's the championship game, what athlete is like, you know what? I'm not my best. I'm going to take the night off, and we'll just focus on it again next year. There's no part of that. When you're a competitor, you compete, period. There's no excuse. So I hope he feels better. But that's not good enough. We have to know our guy's limit. That form is not his strong place. Come on, man. What you want me to say? Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Maybe next time we'll reformat the format of the debates and voting and everything to accommodate Andrew Yang going forward. That's what part of the game is that? That's never gonna be an option. So this is it, fam. Like, this is it. This is the format. What if he steps out his zone and F's up royally? Then that's when you say, I'm sorry, I'm not a politician. Forgive me. I'm building my ship as it sails. I'm not perfect. This isn't what I do. I'm just a father trying to change the world for his sons. Like, that's when you do that. That's when you remind us that you're a human and you're just doing the best that you can. But it doesn't mean you're not brilliant, and it doesn't mean you don't have brilliant ideas, and it doesn't mean that you're not willing to learn and listen to those who have ideas and who know things that you don't know. Like, I don't know how everyone else who has run and become president managed to figure it out, but they did. Okay. Now, again, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I told y'all I'm not here to just criticize Andrew Yang because I just would have done so much better. Nope, not saying that at all. What I'm here to say is Tom Steyer did his thing last night. Amy Klobuchar did her thing last night. So they managed to figure it out. I need Andrew to do the same thing. And if not, what do you want me to tell America? What do you want me to tell people on the street when they ask me about my guy's policies? When they're asking about Amy Klobuchar because she's looking good last night, or when they tell me Tom Steyer really brought it last night. What do you want me to tell people? Because this is the conversation that I have to have. I have to have conversations in the real world where people ask me about my math pen, and then I tell them about my candidate and why I support him. 2 days left to Tom Steyer did everything we wanted Yang. Exactly. And this is Tom Steyer. Do you know how hard it was for me to give Tom Steyer credit? I've been laughing at Tom Steyer this entire time. He figured it out. He was like, yo, time's ticking. I got to do something. I'm a fan of Steyer now. I've always liked him. He comes across sincere. Listen, I'm still voting for Andrew Yang. I'm still an Andrew Yang supporter. I'm still rocking the math pen. I'm still Yang Gang. But that doesn't mean I don't want Andrew Yang to do really well. And for 4 years, it'll be him versus Kanye and Don Jr. I will run against Kanye West. I will never allow Kanye West to be president. That can't happen. Honestly, yeah, he should join the military and get foreign policy credentials. He's too old to join the military, but not a horrible idea. Steyer is an expert at pandering. He does everyone seriously think reparations are reality. Oh, I don't think that when Steyer said something to the effect of, well, I'm the one who actually went and established a bank for the underserved African American and Latino communities. All right, you can call it pandering, you can call it reparations not being possible, whatever. He went there. Like, he chose that position. This is why I said Andrew Yang didn't want the black vote from the beginning, because there are opportunities for you to say, this is where I stand, and you really toe the line. He said that my policies aren't for the black community. My policies are for everybody. Fine, that's your position. Cool. That's a big difference from Tom Steyer saying what he said last night, which is, I want to go ahead and establish a committee to address racial inequality on day one. I don't know why you said that, but you said it on a stage, and that made some people feel a certain way. That's a little bit different than I'm going to give the freedom dividend to everybody and hope that fixes everything. Steyer's reparations is like Trump's wall. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that he's sincere. I'm saying he chose that position, and that was his position last night. And that's what people are going to hear. That's what people are going to remember. We need to hold Yang accountable and let him know his support base needs him to step up. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man. Look, I still support him. I'm not going anywhere. This is not going to make me not support Andrew Yang. This doesn't make me think that I don't think he's incredibly brilliant. I don't think that he doesn't have the best ideas. I don't think that he doesn't have, that he hasn't thought about this stuff more than anybody else. Sure. I just need him to convince the rest of America. All right. I'm not in New Hampshire. I'm not in California. I'm not in every state in America talking to people one by one. I'm in Oklahoma City. I'm on the internet. I travel a little bit, but there's no way I'm having more conversations than Andrew Yang is. So as long as his face-to-face conversations are going great, awesome. But last I checked, he ain't crushed Iowa, and we spent a lot of money. All right? Period. I heard some black people were highly offended by what Steyer said. Who are those people? Tell me who those people are. I'm very curious. Steyer went there because he disrespects black people and their political intelligence. I don't know. I don't know where. Elaborate. How do you think what Steyer said is offensive? I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Steyer was a proponent of impeaching Trump. That was a huge fail. How could we expect him to get anything done? He's nice, but being a billionaire can't get everything in government. And Amy Klobuchar called him out on it. And then that's when Amy said, that's great, Tom, but in practice, that's not how government works. So let me let you know what time it is. And that's why Amy walks away from every debate looking a little bit better than she did last time. Because she establishes that, you know what, maybe I don't have the most money, maybe I'm not the most popular, but I know how the government works, and I know how to get stuff done. And she's just proving it. Can you do some attack videos? I'm not going to attack Steyer because I don't think Steyer is doing that well. I mean, I guess I could attack Pete, but, you know, Pete Pete is just taking Joe Biden's place, and Joe Biden's place is vacuous and empty. It's not about substance. So the people who are voting for him aren't looking for those things. We went. I briefly talked about Buttigieg's platform the other day. I mean, what's he? You guys don't even know what he's running on, do you? He's running on almost nothing, right? He's running on Medicare for all who want it. He's running on $15 an hour. He's running on child care, like a couple of things that no one really cares about because he's Mr. Moderate. So he doesn't have to have this super deep platform. So me doing attack ads on him, that's not going to make no difference. We know he ain't got no support in the black community. You saw him last night when they tripped him up. They say, "Yo, what's up with the incarceration rate for, or the what was it, the rate for African Americans being locked up for marijuana since you became mayor?" That don't look good. But he ain't running on I can get the African American vote. He's running on when Joe falls, I will be there. And right now, Joe's falling. Joe's falling every single day. His numbers go down every day. And Pete's just cruising. And he's slowly sucking it up. And when Joe falls and he endorses Pete, transition complete. The money was spent based on bad marketing. That's why Bernie got rid of him. Oh, you're talking about that, Amy? You talking about that, the marketing firm? You should be offended by what Steyer said. Reparations is jingoism, not reality. Why would I be offended by what Pete? I don't know why you think that what Pete said is offensive. Or what Tom Steyer said is offensive. Andrew said he's for reparations, but he would leave it to the people that have studied extensively. That is more offensive than what. See, there's a difference between saying, listen, I'm not a super big hardcore reparations guy, right? I'm a guy who's like, either you acknowledge certain things are the way they are for a reason or you don't. And that's what picking a position on reparations to me really is. It's not about you actually going out and getting reparations passed, because I think reparations will never pass. But what it is you acknowledging that there are racist policies, there are racist structures that allow certain things to happen at a disproportionate rate than they should. So if you don't make that distinguishment at a certain point, then you're always going to do certain things because you're like, well, this will solve it. Well, this can't solve it because you have like this whole racial component that you're not even acknowledging, which is why I don't like the idea of government controlling a lot of things, because I'm like, government controlling a lot of things, not the best for the black community as a whole. It might be good for a few individuals, sure, but systemically, I feel like that's always going to be an issue. So reparations is a debt owed. That's not offensive. That's the truth. That really is the truth. Like, this is like there's this reckoning that has never happened in American history. That's why we have this divide. Like, that's why black people are like, you're trying to use our votes, but you don't care about us. And then the Democrats show up every 4 years and they say, hey, we need your votes, man. We care about the black community. We got some HBCU stuff. Every time I hear HBCU, that is more offensive to me than you saying there's a wrong that needs to be righted. I don't know why you would think that would be more offensive than HBCUs when black people don't go, like, yeah, more proportionate African Americans go to HBCUs than traditional colleges, but more black people go to regular colleges than HBCUs. So what are we talking about? Like, I don't care about that. That's offensive. Like, I don't care what you're going to do for HBCUs. So, great. I actually like when Warren acknowledged that black votes matter when voting time comes around. Yeah, but we know that she's not serious and she's not actually going to do anything about it. So who cares? That's what I'm saying. It's like when you telling me that the Democrats don't care about black votes, but then not actually doing something about that doesn't solve a problem. You're just acknowledging a problem because you think it gives you points. But any kind of person who has any common sense is like, okay, well, what's the next step? Oh, you don't have a next step. You just said that because you thought that was going to make you look good. Oh, you don't care about me either. So then when I've been telling y'all from the beginning, like, okay, Joe Biden might win the black vote, but if the voter turnout is extremely low, it's not going to matter. Well, that's what we're on the path to right now. See, no one's speaking to the black community right now, and again, that's fine. You don't have to. I hope that you can win this election, Andrew Yang, without ever touching the black vote, because otherwise, then Donald Trump's going to win. It's more than just acknowledging. He's putting something on the table. Heck, if you can address the debt people owe in Iowa or other, while majority of it are on the account of the old boys, that's BS. But why aren't black folk attending HBCUs as much as we once did? I don't know. Personally, I never really had a desire to go to an HBCU. I guess that's just me. But there's a lot of reasons, I guess. I don't know. Probably lack of resources in a HBCU compared to a white university. Like, if I'm going to spend my money going to college, I'm going to go to the best university available, based on what I can get into. And is that an HBCU? Maybe, but probably not. Steyer knows nothing about racism. He doesn't care about the minorities. He only mentions black and Latino. No one cares about Asian Americans in poverty, I guess. Ultimate paternalism. Yo, no one has ever said that. That's a great point. Go for it. Run on that, and then you can come into this and say, hey, this is what I'm delivering. I'm delivering the Asian American vote. Like, this is the hill I'm trying to die on. Like, that would be great. I encourage any group of people to get together and become a legitimate voting bloc, because that's how you get your concerns heard. This is what the teachers do. This is what the nurses do. This is what the doctors do. This is what corporations do. Like, that's how politics has always worked. So, this is the game. Trump this, Trump that, Steyer. Andrew's poll numbers represent the number of smart people in America. You know what? I find that fairly accurate. Black folks aren't in HBCUs as much because we aren't as shut out from other schools like we once were. Yeah, man. Yeah, when HBCUs were the only game in town, they had kind of a monopoly. Amy K is a jailer like Kamala. She is more powerful because she is a white jailer. Touche. I didn't say she wasn't a police, man. I didn't say she was a police or that I was voting for. I just said she brings it. Is a country dumb enough to elect Trump suddenly smart enough to elect Andrew? Man. Yo, that's like probably the most dope comment I've seen in a minute. I think that's kind of genius. That's really smart. You should meme that. Are we the crazy ones? Probably. Hawaii having problems that some natives are literally living in landfills would be interesting and brought up. Whoa, for real? I got a filmmaker friend in Hawaii. He has never mentioned that. I should probably reach out to him. That would be kind of a cool movie and a cool trip to Hawaii. Andrew is not a soundbite candidate. Okay. Like, that's like saying, I'm not a three-point shooter. Are you want to win a championship or what? Like, I understand he's not a soundbite candidate. I need you to become one right now. Find another way. If you're not going to be a soundbite candidate, then find some other way to get your message to resonate. I told you, I've been talking to people all these months, and the people keep telling me that they like Andrew Yang. We know that he's got the highest net favorability across all candidates, but people have to believe that he can win. And that is up to him. He has to convince them that. I can't convince them that. You know what I mean? I can help them to like him. I can help them to be open. I can help them to hear his ideas and his full policies. But can he win? He has to convince them that. Can y'all get me off of 13 likes even if you have to take one away? That just freaks me out. What's your prediction as to how Andrew Yang will do in New Hampshire? Well, we know Iowa's white, and we know that New Hampshire is even more white. So I don't necessarily expect him to do particularly well in New Hampshire. I'm hoping that honestly, I think he'll poll at 5%. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not expecting it to be New Hampshire that starts the turnaround. I'm hoping that I would like it to be. I would love for him to do 15 or 12% and people to be like, okay, I'm waking up to this Andrew Yang guy. But I think it's going to be the South Carolina. That's probably, I think, where it'll start to turn. But we need some good news. We need some momentum. What are you doing? Get out of here. It's a trench fight. It's not Exeter debates. Exactly. There's no shelter. Front lines are everywhere. Yeah, man. Castro, Booker, Gabbard, Yang. White Iowa and whiter New Hampshire. Yeah. PSP made a video about Bloomberg paying $150 per post for Bloomberg today. Man, come here. Go sit. Do you want to continue watching your show?
Yes.
I will turn it off if you don't. All right, go.
Let me kiss you.
This kid.
I kiss you.
Bye. Can you kiss me? I love you too, bud. If there's no turnaround now, how will we have any momentum for Super Tuesday by March 3rd? Yo, why do you think I'm not making videos every day? I'm not going to come out here and make no video and tell you, oh, a guy in Iowa told me that Andrew Yang is really crushing it. I think he's really at 64%. I'm not making that video. I have respect for myself, okay? Like, when the numbers change, I can make more videos that are positive, and I'm not going to just try to put spin on things. I posted, the last tweet I put out last night was, I can't spin this. I can't spin these numbers. All right? See the math pen? Andrew Yang told me to think harder. All right? He told me to look at the numbers. He told me to look at the data, and he told me to make informed decisions based on, like, things that I actually see and evidence, and not to just be coming in here with conjecture and opinion. And I need some numbers to make me, have something legitimate to tell you guys that is like substantive. And right now I ain't got it. So I don't know how, but I hope it happens. Do I think the U.S. can survive the next 4 years without devolving into civil war? I'm not optimistic. I mean, look, man, we can't front. People are happy. Like, everybody is not miserable. All right. You know what I mean? People like Trump. His favorability is up. And then you just see there's this video of this old lady saying we need to put an S on his chest and a cape on his back. Like, somebody likes Trump. All right. A lot of people don't like him, but a lot of people do. So, no, there's not going to be no civil war. We are the people who created this country and created the systems were geniuses. They made us comfortable enough for there to probably not be a civil war. That, like, it would take a lot for there to be a real civil war, like chaos in the streets. So as long as enough people are afloat and enough people are doing okay, then we'll be fine. Then nothing will happen. The issue is if technology gets out of control and way more people are super disgruntled than we have right now. That'd be a problem. And you and Tulsi need to connect on how to take down people on stage. We can wait for someone else to drop out. I feel like it's not going to work anymore. We can't wait for someone. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said about Iowa. Iowa was supposed to be, this is going to give us a reason for somebody to drop out. The way Iowa went down was a huge fail because it didn't shake Steyer. I mean, it probably did shake Steyer, but he didn't do well. Like, it's not like he got 7% of the vote and that wasn't enough for him to go forward. He got 0, so it doesn't matter. Deval Patrick doesn't matter. Like, the people who didn't do well got 0, so it doesn't matter. We needed Klobuchar to get 4%. We needed Pete to get 8%. We needed Warren to get 11%. So if that happened, then these people say, okay, well, now we're going to suspend our campaign. Those would be votes to pick up, and then we can move forward. That's not what happened. You think Tulsi is trying to get Yang supporters by saying she supports UBI and her new FBS? Oh, geez, is that what she's doing? Amy will drop out after New Hampshire. I don't know about that. Amy, this is why I started talking about Amy dethroning Warren. I mean, one of them will probably drop out. Could Amy dethrone Elizabeth Warren? Absolutely. But where does Warren fall to? Does Warren fall to under 10%? If that happens, yes. But if they both finish at 12 or 13%, maybe another state before they drop out. You know what I mean? And how does Yang maintain momentum while we wait for somebody to drop out? It's tough. Elon needs to buy a primetime slot for Andrew Ron Powell style and bring the PowerPoint. You're taking the wrong lesson from Iowa. It was not a failure. It only revealed how much the deck is stacked against Andrew Yang. I knew the deck was stacked against Andrew Yang from the beginning, so I'm not surprised. I didn't think that they were going to lay down and be like, let's let this Andrew Yang guy win. I told y'all they've already picked their candidate. They picked him years ago. What did you say? Pete might be the one behind the Yang media blackout. Well, in my last video, I said you can't be. I can't be mad at the media for blacking out a candidate who isn't giving the media a reason to talk about him. You have to get that earned media. Like, you have to earn the media. You have to give the people a reason to want to talk about you. If you're good for ratings, then they're going to cover you no matter what, because they're just like, look, we got to get this money. Take advantage of capitalism. If it works, then make it work for you. If being good for ratings is what you have to become, then be good for ratings. I told y'all, we can't, like, y'all, see, now y'all starting to turn into those people who try to get me to believe something that people are going to do that they've never done before. This is how the system works. This is how voting works. This is how elections work. We're not changing the election process so that Andrew Yang can win now. Like, that's never going to be it. All right, we're not going to be like, you know what? Let's go back to the drawing board. I told y'all Bloomberg was going to be able to do that because Bloomberg was going to get votes. When you're getting votes, they're going to change the process for you because he's actually getting votes. Like, we're talking about all this right now, and Bloomberg is at 10%, and it's not even showing up in the numbers. Like, Bloomberg is out there, like, winning. Like, not winning, but he's out there putting up numbers, and we're not even talking about him. So once he actually gets into the conversation, all right, maybe that's a reason for Warren to be out or Klobuchar to be out. Meanwhile, Bloomberg has more votes than both these people anyway. So Andrew needs to learn 3 key words. Excuse me, but yeah. He used to reel in debating rules. Interrupting is forbidden. He must grow and learn to get his message out. Yeah, did you see Tully's recent video about Pete and the thing he's been doing in Iowa the whole time? He made comments, particular automation companies backing Pete. Pete stole Andrew's talking points right next to him on the stage. He's the key to copy your homework and changes a couple of words. How does one get good for ratings? Ask Donald Trump. He's amazing for ratings. Donald Trump is amazing for ratings. He got $2 million in free media in 2016 because he's great for ratings. How did he do it? He said things that I do wonder. Trump was very special because I think the media thought that they were burying him with giving him all that free coverage. It's not like they were talking about him positively. They were extreme. Like, oh, this guy's insane and he's a horrible person and how can he be this and how can he be that? And they thought they were crushing him. but it just made him stronger. So, I mean, Andrew Yang obviously dominates the internet. He's great on the internet. Why doesn't that translate to the mainstream media?
Too stronger.
Your breath is stronger. Go out of here. Get rid of Zach Grauman when we have the talent but no wins. It's the coach. Ooh, that's rough. Looks like Pete could possibly be DNC candidate. Yeah, man, they love him. He should be dropping out next one. Oh my goodness. Pete is Obama's white translator. Yo, I told y'all Pete was getting his Obama in debate 4. At this point, I'm hoping Yang survives New Hampshire and get a turnaround in Nevada. I don't see him keeping afloat till South Carolina. Please tell our guy to be a lion. A coalition between the 3 of them. Donald Trump has been working with media since the 80s. Yeah, he's a beast, man. Yeah, but why do they cover him? I can't even figure that out. But why do they cover him? And it just backfires. like it just backfired. They say the worst things about Donald Trump, and he comes out glowing. That could be why the media kept Yang in the dark. Hillary made Trump a thing. I mean, they started out laughing at him. Do you guys remember when he came down the steps at the Trump Tower and the first story was like, there was a Craigslist ad or something where they were trying to hire the people to go sit in the lobby, and it was a joke and blah, blah, blah. And like, that was just the beginning. They weren't talking anything positive about him. It was a joke. I know Yang's support was weak when the Yang gang put too much hope in celebrity endorsements. Yeah, man. That's how Trump did it. How do you think the quiet, thoughtful Asian man does it? If more proof of disruptive automation in the next few weeks might wake up America. Well, I mean, we've been seeing articles roll out left and right. I mean, as they said, the one guy with coronavirus is being treated primarily by a computer. We've had multiple reports of boats and trucks doing their maiden voyages without any operator. That stuff is coming and going, and it's just, does your son have expert analysis on the state of the race? Yeah. Probably. Please, New Hampshire, save us. Establishment candidates are just a racing team. They care personally who wins, but overall, as long as the team wins, it's all gravy. If more proof of disruptive automation, I think Yang will get some delegates in New Hampshire. It's not the end. Yeah, as long as he gets a delegate, that'll get him on the debate stage. That's what we need from New Hampshire. Boomers don't understand the 4th Industrial Revolution. Boomers don't care about the 4th Industrial Revolution, man. Like, they want to know that their retirement is intact. They want to know that they still can get their Medicare. They're trying to get out of the workforce. They're not trying to be in it. The media covered Trump because he was good for ratings. People like craziness. The Housewives franchise is huge. Buddy.
I love you.
I love you too. Can I please finish my stream?
Oh, but I was like really busy with you.
Buddy, I'm going to be with you, and then you're going to want me to go away.
Why not?
Why is it that only black people see through Pete? Because he makes everybody else comfortable. That's the kind of guy that makes black people not comfortable at all. Sonny.
Yes,
Seriously.
sir.
I'm going to go turn off your show.
No.
All right, then let me finish my business.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Like, proof. His now is probably better than CNN. Yeah. The only thing that will restore morality to U.S. politics is a full adoption of reparations. Man. When his campaign went into traditional campaign style and he ditched math, that hurt his run. Data is what they had on Iowa was all wrong. We laughed about it at the debate last night. Yang needs to entertain. He said he has a bar for every politician in the game. I'm white and I see through Sneaky Pete. Yeah, it's not that. I just think that. I don't know, man. Boomers the most tragic generation. Policies created to cater to them have caused all our problems. And they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that, man. White people don't see snake. What happened to Caesar? I mean, I told you guys, I met Pete supporters here in Oklahoma. I was like shocked. I was like, wait, Mayor Pete? I was like, oh yeah, I like Pete. They told me they didn't think he could win. They told me they didn't think he could win. This is 2.5 months ago. They were just like, I really like. If I was like, well, if you could vote for anybody, regardless of who you thought could win, who would you vote for? They're like, I really like Mayor Pete. What? Mayor Pete looks like a white grandpa's grandson. That's a little odd. You want to see? So that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I think he is. I think he's that like Opie, like that little. That's the kid you could imagine seeing in the 1950s ad with the cardigan with the letter or the like. That's you could see that. Like okay, yeah. But they will give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Ain't that nice? But yeah, last night, debate. Uh, Said Sanders is the favorite in New Hampshire, so it should be interesting. Right now, we only got 5 people who've qualified for the next debate: Biden, Klobuchar, Warren, Sanders, Mayor Pete, and let's assume Bloomberg, as long as he can deliver a delegate by next month. And then everybody else here, Bennett, Gabbard, Patrick, Steyer, Yang, they got to get some votes to even matter. So I think Pete is gay, so he can be president. So he can be president. Yeah, let's say the debate is just a big yo mama contest and Yang don't like playing. That's about right. What I think of the Iowan lady voted for Pete, didn't realize he was gay and wanted her vote back. He is the Pence-based nightmare. I think a lot of people don't know that he's gay because he likes to turn it off and on. Like he doesn't actually really say that he's gay very often. He will say, like he's been saying lately, people like me don't think that we can be seen or something. He says he like this little vague language where you're just like, oh, you're just like an awkward teenager, like you have some teenage angst that you're trying to hide from us, or like he doesn't say same-sex couples don't think that they have a voice in America. He's no. He ain't going down that far. He'll say, people who are afraid to tell their family who they are. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? And I understand why he would do that. But we know how that's going to shake out in a debate with Donald Trump. He will not be so kind. But it is what it is. Like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I'm not going to come here just to bash Andrew Yang, I mean. But being on the debate stage, again, it's not going to matter if you don't do anything when you're up there. So, like, for us, I'm at the point where I'm done talking about the debates. I don't care if Andrew Yang doesn't make the debate. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It doesn't matter for him, I mean. It's like people see a dichotomy between economic reform and social reform. Oh, yeah. He references the Bible when it's useful to him. Yeah, man, he's a very convenient whatever he is. Yang should say Wu-Tang. Andrew needs to just embrace the black community and say he's got something to bring to the table that the other candidates can't deliver, man. Bash his campaign manager as well. For the sole president for the just turn it to John. Yeah, Yang should just go out there for the next 20 days and just be like, look, sexuality is a determination. Well, we actually looked at the numbers on that, by the way. And by the numbers, homosexuality is better than being a socialist when it comes to running for president, according to the American people. I don't have the stat because I don't know which poll it's from, but I think this is from last year. Obviously, it's from last year. They did a study and they were asking the different questions. Would you vote for a woman? Would you vote for a gay person? Would you vote for an atheist? Would you vote for whatever? And I did a video on this, and we arrived at the conclusion that being a socialist is worse than all of those things. So, he'll be fine. What they should have done is to get as many passionate Yang Gang to work for the campaign instead of people from other campaigns just to get paid, but to believe leaking. I thought, man, listen, they could have sent me a check. I'd have been there all day, every day. Or they could have got me a job with Bloomberg. I'd have made more money, and then I could have moonlighted for Yang and given bad advice on Bloomberg supporters. And they said that Bloomberg's paying 80 racks to come out here and campaign for him. I was like, whoa, that's hard to that's hard to pass off, man. Just to sit there and support a guy who's not going to be around long. If it's Bloomberg, Pete, Trump is winning. Yeah, man. Black people getting money. Ma, we can't get this guy now. Oh, yeah, that would definitely be a problem. Oh, man. That video with Big Boy was powerful, but it probably cost him Iowa. You think so? I mean, I don't think he spent any money on it. It's just internet video. It's Andrew Yang targeting New Hampshire independents specifically last night. Lots of independents in Iowa. I imagine he was doing something to target New Hampshire. I mean, they said he's done 90-plus events there, so music reaches more people quicker, and whenever the song plays, it's free advertising. Trump knows Andrew will support. Trump knows Andrew. He supports, brings him to the White House as an FU. I would not be surprised if Donald Trump reached out to Andrew Yang. Would not be surprised. Yang needs more long-form interviews and podcasts to really dig into what other candidates can't compete with Trump. You see, buddy, keep going. The problem is the average attention span is like 38 seconds, so long-form video is not going to help Andrew Yang. Slam dunk contest. Slam dunk. He needs slam dunks. He needs great 360 dunks. He needs moments. He needs Sports Center highlights. He does not need long-form content because people aren't trying to consume no long-form content. You could have run as a media guy for the campaign. I'd have been a lot cheaper, I'll tell you that. Look, this is internet media, right? All you have to do, or the beauty of internet media is you can make the same commercial for every demographic. Like you can make, this is the Asian version of that commercial. This is the white version of that commercial. This is the white upper class version of that commercial. This is the Latino version of that commercial. This is the black version of that commercial. That's what you do. You just make the same commercial 50 different ways for every possible demographic. It's not expensive. You know what I mean? Like it's not hard. He needs to get on every popular YouTube show. No, he needs to get on every 50 to 64 show. He's won the internet. The problem is winning the internet doesn't necessarily translate to votes. This is a conversation. We've been having this conversation for months. For months, people have been telling me he's crushing Twitter. And I said, I don't care if he's crushing Twitter. I don't care if he's crushing Google searches. Like, what does it matter if he has the most Google searches? How many of those people do you think are going to vote, man? That's why the young demographic is not a reliable voting block. Like, we don't know who's consuming what internet content. That don't mean nothing. He should hide a megaphone next to There you go. Something is wrong with other campaigns can copy him verbatim, believed to be viable, but he isn't. Likelihood of Yang rerun 2024 with better outcomes? It depends on what he does for the next 4 years, you know? Does he spend the next 4 years actually going out and getting some political experience? Does he just go back to the private sector? I mean, I don't know. How can Angie Yang attack candidates when his mic is muted? I told you, knock down the podium or go take somebody else's mic. Like they turn off his mic, right? Or go use somebody else's mic. Hey, I'm sorry I have to come over here, Tom, and borrow your mic, but apparently these moderators don't want to hear me give my vision to the American people. So I decided to take this opportunity to lead. You know what I mean? I decided to fight for the 400,000 people who are already supporting me by walking over here, taking this mic, and speaking to them directly. I don't know. I'm just a guy in Oklahoma. I don't know much, but I know that if I felt like I was being railroaded, I wouldn't sit there and take it. Like if I felt like this is my only chance, then I'm going to do whatever I have to do in order to compete. One of these jokers will invite him in the administration. Old people don't Google. Yeah, man. So the only person who can help Andrew today is Andrew himself. He needs to go back to his core message. That's it. That's it. That's what I say. I can't do nothing more for him. Like he's out in the streets. He's the one talking to the people, and he's the one who's having an issue communicating.
We have to throw this egg away.
Oh, we will. Just put it on the counter, please.
Okay.
Thank you. He needs to focus on human-centered capitalism. Yeah, yeah. Again, last night he mentioned human-centered capitalism a couple of times. I wish he had tied it into the American scorecard. You know, just to remind us that we have a policy behind it, and he's not just talking. Like I wish he would kind of go back to that point where he'd say, on my first day of my administration, I'm going to go on down to whatever that office is, and we're going to change GDP as a measure of economic success. Like bring that back. Like that. I remember the moment when I realized how important that was when I was doing videos months ago. And I was like, okay, now I see why he keeps bringing that up. And at some point he stopped talking about it. But I think that it's important because, you know, just like when Amy kind of stole his thunder on the opioid thing about how she's going to pay for all this treatment that Andrew Yang wants to put into place, like it solidifies what you're saying as not just a thought or an idea. Like you actually have thought about this and you have policy behind it. And I think that wouldn't be the worst thing that he could do. I mean, if anything, it's going to make him sound more informed. Natural limit using the internet. We need to be a part of extending the reach of the message. Absolutely. Like he's a good candidate. He's a great guy. He's well thought out. He's informed. But making it translate that's the job. You know what I mean? Like that's the job. And I heard him say it a couple of times last night, but it just didn't sound the same as when he used to bring back the changing the economic factors. He even listed them out. Like he went down. You know, what if our economy was based on life expectancy and drug overdoses and dynamism? He listed them out, but he just didn't add that last part. Again, I'm not going to criticize every little thing he says or doesn't say. I just think that by stating that, it reminds people that he's not just saying it. Because I've heard other candidates kind of start to say it, but I don't hear anyone saying they actually want to get rid of GDP as a measure for economic prosperity. Maybe there's a reason for no attacks. Everyone who is attacked is no longer on that stage. That's not true. Pete went after Biden in the second, third debate. Pete and Warren was ganging up on Biden. It just depends on how you do it. I mean, you can point out, and it's not even necessarily attacking. You can say, this is my policy. This is why my policy is better than that policy. That's not an attack. That's a critique. Amy the jailer did that. The mods gave his idea to criminal. Yeah, it's the small amounts to repeat. Yeah, man. Pete attacks others all the time. Yeah, man. Pete ain't no joke, man. I think y'all sleeping on Pete, man. Like Pete gets busy. Asians are not aggressive. They're more passive. Well, then, if you know, okay, first of all, we've already talked about Andrew Yang and stereotypes, right? That hasn't really been one. It's one of the critiques we get, right? So if you think that that's a critique, or you know that's a critique or a criticism of Asian men, and you're trying to be the Asian president, then you got to buck that. You got to be okay. Well, how do I establish that I'm not that? I'm not going to be the passive Asian man, especially when you're going against Donald Trump, and that's what he's going to probably do. He's like going to point that out. So I don't care if it's not your personality. If you want to be president, you got to be great, at least for a couple of months, like not forever. You just got to be great. You got to run a near flawless campaign. Um, I, the fact that the field is, I still don't think the street field is particularly strong. I will say these guys are doing better, but it's not just like a strong field of a bunch of people that we expected to really see where they are right now. Like who's checking for Mayor Pete? Who's checking for Amy Klobuchar? Who's checking for, like, really the only names we expect to see up there are Warren, Sanders, and Biden. So it's kind of open still. You know what I mean? We need to convince our relatives, our neighbors, to think harder and look into him if they can win them over. But he has reached his. The other candidates are just bad actors. A friend from college works for Pete's campaign. He thinks he's the best shot winning against Trump. I mean, the numbers don't say that he does, but okay. I mean, that's like me saying I think Andrew Yang can beat Trump. Yeah, I support Andrew Yang. Of course, I can tell you that I think that he has the best chance of beating Trump. But that doesn't mean the numbers are shaking out with that. So, but hey, listen, the numbers are changing. I told y'all, right now, you're watching the changing of the guard. Pete is becoming Joe Biden. So in about a month, unless Biden gets it back together miraculously, he gonna be the new Biden. You disagree? All right, what's up? You should hear his supporters disappointed he's not going to attack Doug. I'm sure he does. All men originate from Africa. He's to pull his internal African roots and stand up to shut up like Samuel Jackson. Oh my goodness. Yang needs to get alpha. Yeah. Yeah, he does. He should call out and appreciate everyone starting to adopt his policies. So, Biden needs to back Yang and bow out now. See, now y'all talking crazy again. You're talking crazy. Why would Biden bow out now? I mean, he will one more state, but I can't make that video. I would sound crazy. Then y'all be looking at me like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, I have to have credibility, all right? That's why I have to give credit where credit is due. Otherwise, then I become a source where I'm just saying things because I want you to be excited. Like, I can't do that. He will bow out if he starts embarrassing himself, though. He will, but he's not going to back Yang. He's going to back Mayor Pete. Biden said that my guy to Yang at the end of the debate. Biden said to Yang if Yang wins the nomination, he would retire. Really? I wouldn't be surprised by that. You say Tom has no clue. Wait. Americans don't want the best candidate. His message is not hard to understand. I beg to differ. I think his message is kind of hard to understand. I mean, it's a complicated message. Like, the message of humanity first, cool. But his platform, I think, was probably a little bit more difficult to understand. If, like, I think you really got to go through it. You know what I mean? And I think that's a problem. You know what I mean? You got 150 policies. It sounds great, but don't sound better than Joe Biden handing a business card to somebody saying, "Here's my position on Medicare," or whatever his Social Security, whatever his business card that he's got, that he's been handing out to the members of the media. says like that. That's kind of dope. Biden must know that Pete is off. Hey, I think Biden's like, all right, I guess I'll be VP again. Yang and Tulsi need to team up. You think she'll bail out after New Hampshire? What are we gonna do with Tulsi? She's not delivering anything to us. That's what I'm saying. Like we have to have a sector of the electorate that we can deliver, so we can say, hey, well, I might not be winning, but at least I got the XY vote. What sector of the vote is Tulsi bringing us? Republicans, which isn't terrible, but come on, man. Like we're bringing the Yang Gang. Like that's our biggest asset right now. But the Yang Gang ain't gonna go hard for any other candidate. So that doesn't really help you. I mean, 40% of the Yang Gang is like, well, guess we trumping it again, or they're not gonna vote. So that's not really appealing to somebody. If Yang lost, I can see the U.S. will turn to a country as poor as some country like China, Africa. Uh, I think Biden can smell the stench of Beto. People knew. People said peace steals. Y'all really don't like Pete. You remember John McCain in 2008 primaries campaign almost failed in the beginning. Tulsi 6% in New Hampshire. So, anyways, last night was awful, but let's just hope that let's just hope that Pete only has 800,000 donors. How does Pete only have 800,000 donors and Yang has 400,000? Jesus. Did anyone from non-Yang gang caught Yang calling out Pete? Biden accuses Pete of stealing his health care plans. It was new. Yeah, I remember Joe Biden out there last night talking about, uh, let's all get up and support Vindman. I forgot about that. Yeah, Joe was out there being Joe. But this is the biggest loser was Trump. Let's see what the internet's saying real quick on this. Yeah, I don't know. I was just overall, ugh. Yang's mic was shut off. Oh boy, he has 40 billionaires though. Yeah, he does. But I'm just saying 400,000. I'm saying if he has 400,000, or if he has 800,000 individual donors, and and Yang has 400,000, how is that possible vote wise? Like what? So yeah. Anyways, is the correct summary. Yeah, pretty much, man. Like I said, I had to vent. I had to make this video. I don't want to be like super negative. Like, I can't tell y'all that everything doesn't matter. Stuff matters. The debates matter. Iowa matters. Like, we've had some mistakes. We've had some hiccups. But we're on to the next state. And hopefully, I saw a lot of people on the internet talking about coming over to Yang last night, which was kind of surprising to me, based on my interpretation of how well he did. So, hopefully it resonated with the people who needed to hear it, and people are coming in, and they're gonna at least donate to take the burden off of us who've been sitting here donating all this time, and we can continue to move forward because time's still ticking. He needs to throw an X to Pete. You know, so Tuesday, 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 Tuesday. Votes will be in. We'll find out, and I just hope I don't have to come out here and try to shine up another turd.
Excuse me, Dad?
Yes, sir.
Can I please have some ice?
I'll get you some ice. Go to your room.
Okay. I have a big fat belly.
I see your big fat belly.
My stuffed animals are in here.
Okay, I will be out there. Yeah. Tuesday. Like I said, yeah, I don't want to have to try to shine this thing up anymore. Like it's very difficult. It's hard to come out and try to make a video and be pro Yang when I don't have any good news to report. I didn't talk about the Yang campaign laying off staffers because what do you want me to say? What can I say? I can't spin that positively. I don't know. They said that some people were supposed to be leaving the campaign after Iowa anyway, so okay. But all right. I mean, some of these people are saying they have national positions, so it's not just people who were let go from Iowa. So people are gone. Hopefully there's some rebranding or some new messaging or something, or there's something that's supposed to come from that. Maybe hopefully it's not a desperate plea to save money, or I haven't got any crazy fundraising emails in the last 24 hours, so Evelyn needs to give Andrew the talk. Yeah, let's hopefully, man, go play with that big fat belly. Tenor is beating the clue already. That's right. I'm gonna go play with the big fat belly. Watch some Ninja Turtles, man. Listen, let's all take a day. Let's regroup. Let's get back on it. Let's get back on the phones. Let's get back on the texts. Let's get back out on the streets. And hopefully, Yang will take the day, regroup, and we can come back and hit it hard because we need some votes. New Hampshire is white, but, a good showing will still mean a lot. There's potential. We got an open primary. We don't have any caucuses. We don't got any realignments or anything like that. But they're gonna vote. They're gonna let people know how they feel. And New Hampshire is a state that kind of does their own thing. So hopefully they decide to do their own thing, and let's elevate Andrew Yang to 10+% at least. Good showing. That's all we need. So with that said, you guys have a awesome afternoon. Stay vigilant, stay focused, focus on the math, humanity first. Let's get this thing. Peace.